Okay, good to go.
Good to go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Bridgewater Conservation Commission. The date is January 11th, 2024. The time is 6 o'clock. We have a quorum, so we'll open the meeting. For the record, the members and staff present are Marilyn McDonald, Eileen Prisco, Bob Bruley, the Director of Community and Economic Development, and myself, Wendy Smith. I'll now read the governor's order for online meetings into record. Disclosure pursuant of Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This meeting of the Conservation Commission for the town of Bridgewater will be hybrid and accessible to the public through remote participation to the greatest extent possible. There will be no public attendance permitted. Citizens who wish to tune into the meeting may do so via Zoom. The link and meeting ID number and the phone number are on the bridgewaterma.org website. The order of the agenda tonight, we'll have public comment, public hearings, new business. We have notice of intent for 1185 Pleasant Street, map 72, lot 1. Has been requested that it be continued to the next meeting. A request for determination of applicability for 44 Douglas Drive, map 118, lot 46. Under old business, we have a notice of intent, 0 Lakeshore Center, map 83, lot 85. We have a continuation letter for that, so it will be continued until the next meeting. Notice of intent for Summer Street, map 122. Then we have Conservation Commission business. We have administrative items. We have 3 certificates of compliance, 1 for Firefly Lane, map 49, lot 98 and 99. 1 for 218 rear Auburn Street, map 78, lot 56. And 6 Aldrich Road, map 20, lot 77. There are no minutes to have reviewed for tonight, and we will adjourn. So first up, we've done the call to order. Anyone that is on the meeting from the public that has any comment, question, concern that they would like to share with the Conservation Commission, you may do so at this time. You can either use your virtual hand that's located at the bottom of your screen, or you can raise your hand, wave at Bob, and he will open up.
And just as a note, Madam Chair,
That it
public
can't have
comment.
anything to do with what's on the agenda for tonight. So it's if you have a question or a concern regarding anything other than what's on the agenda tonight. Thank you.
I am not seeing any hands up and no one has chatted at me.
Okey doke. All right, so we'll move on. Public hearings under new business. As stated, the notice of intent for 1185 Pleasant Street, map 72, lot 1 has been requested that it be continued. So that will not be on the agenda tonight. So next up, we have a request for determination of applicability for 44 Douglas Drive, map 118, lot 46. The applicant representative is James Murphy and Collins Civil Engineering Group.
And I believe Mr. Clenhart from Collins Engineering is here.
Yes, good evening.
Mr. Hart. I'm just going to read in the abutters have been notified, and I just need to read the legal ad. 44 Douglas Drive, Bridgewater, legal notice of public hearing, Conservation Commission, Bridgewater, Mass. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, in the Town of Bridgewater Local Wetland Bylaw, the Bridgewater Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on December 28th, this must have been put in before because it says on the 28th, 2023, for a request for determination of applicability filed by James Murphy. The applicant proposes to upgrade a residential septic system along with the removal of a shed and gazebo. The property is owned by Sandra Burke and is located at 44 Douglas Drive, Bridgewater, Mass, map 118, parcel 46. Please contact the Bridgewater Conservation Office at 508-697-0950. For the time and location or link for virtual participation, all interested parties are encouraged to attend. And with that, Mr. Hart, I'm all set.
All right, good evening. My name is David Clenhart from Collins Civil Engineering Group. I'm here as a representative for the septic repair at Douglas Drive. It is 44 Douglas Drive. And I have my screen up. If I can share, I can go over the
Yep.
project.
You have the ability to share.
Yep. And if you can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Douglas Drive. This is 44 Douglas Drive. It's on the south side of the property. There are wetlands on the off the property. These wetlands were delineated by Brooke Monroe, and their flags 1 through 7 off the southwest corner of the property. The orange line here is the 50-foot buffer. The purple line is the 100-foot buffer. We have a red line here that surrounds the property. This will be the 8-inch straw wattle for the erosion control. We're proposing to replace the septic system. I'll zoom up so you can see the existing system. It's right where we're proposing the new system. This new system will be completely outside the 100-foot buffer. The only work that will be done inside the 100-foot buffer will be to replant and reseed some of these test pits that were unsuitable, removing the shed, and for maneuverability to probably take dirt out. We have 2 accesses to the site. We have a site access on the east side and a site access on the west side. This allows us to bring in material on one side, stockpile it just on the 100-foot buffer, and remove material on the left side. And of course, the access will be inside the 100-foot, some of the access. We do propose dewatering pits here for any dewatering that would be necessary. The system once again is completely outside the 100-foot buffer. There is a screened-in porch right here that's outside the 100-foot buffer that will be part of the work. We're going to remove that screened-in porch. So 2 buildings will be removed, 1 screened-in porch and 1 shed right here. Basically, the erosion control line or siltation fence will be 65 feet to the wetland. The septic system will be 109 feet from the wetland. I guess there was a question about offset to the property line. We do have 14 feet, and 310 CMR allows us to be 10 feet. This has been approved by the Board of Health.
Okay.
David, I'm sure some of the members might have some questions, but the abutter at 32 Douglas Drive had provided us with or the commission with some photos today. There's concern that if this is an elevated system, that they're already getting drainage from this property onto their property. Can you address that?
Yeah, sure. You can see from the grades here, we have a 51 here. We have a 51 here. It's very, very flat here. There's really no place for water to go. Our system will be just slightly elevated at 52. This would actually push water mostly towards the left. There will be some runoff here, but it won't be stagnant. It won't be flat anymore. It's a very flat area here. We'll have water pushing off to the right. Actually, we'll have more water pushing off to the left now towards the wetland because there will be a 2% slope cutting through the system that pushes water from the north side to the south side and then out. All I can say is that that area is very, very flat, and it tends to gather stormwater in any event. By raising the system, we'll actually be pushing the water away somewhat.
Okay.
The system will only be a foot higher or half a foot higher than it is now, the ground level.
Okay. Bob, do you have any other comments that you wanted to make?
No, I mean, other members, and I don't know if the abutters are even present. If they are, you might want to hear from them once the
Yep,
committee members offer their comments.
will do. Okay, how about Marilyn? Do you have any comments?
No, not really. I mean, the system looks like it's fine. Obviously it's been passed by Board of Health. always understand neighbors' concerns with stormwater, but it sounds like, they're pitching it, so it's gonna at least help the current stormwater situation. So at this point, I really have no further comments. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Marilyn. Eileen, what about you?
I am totally fine with this plan.
Okay. And myself, I did see the pictures that the abutter had sent, and it was extremely wet right along the fence. I understand what you're saying about the pitch, though, so that it will, hitting there, if it's really flat, it's gonna be stagnant. If it's raised just a little and pitched downward, then, maybe that is going to allow some kind of movement, or at least not as much water sitting there that it might seep into the ground faster or something. I mean, septic systems have to be upgraded. They need to be adjusted and fixed. So, taking out those buildings, and I mean, the plan itself looks good. And the septic needs to be done. So with any luck, it will help with the wet, flat land that's there now. So with that, I would open it if there's anyone that's on the meeting that would like to make a comment or has a question or concern regarding the plans for 44 Douglas Drive. You may do so at this time. Again, you can send a message in the chat. You can raise your virtual hand at the bottom of your screen, or you can raise your hand to be recognized by Mr. Rulli.
Not seeing any, Madam Chair.
Okay. With that, commission members, do we have enough information to close?
Oh,
Hang
wait,
on, I am now getting a message from David
Yeah.
Pearl that he would like to speak.
Okay,
Mr. Pearl, if you could just identify yourself with name and address, please.
Yes, this is David Perrell, and I'm at 32 Douglas Drive in Bridgewater.
and I am Marilyn Perrell, and I live with my husband David at 32 Douglas Drive.
Always a good thing when you live together.
I would like to say that we have been here 38 and a half years. And in that time, the reason I did the PowerPoint is to respect the drainage in our neighborhood that goes from east to west down the street and also through our backyards. We have always had, since we've been here 38 and a half years, water issues with that fence on the west side of the property. So years ago, before the Burks moved in, Arthur Gladue, who owned the property, said there was an underground stream that went under our property line. And there is evidence of some of those rocks still when I dig in the garden, they're there. But regardless, when we have rain, it goes across our septic system, which is apparently abutting where this upgrade is going to be. And then it goes under the fence for about 10 feet where our septic system is not, and it just sits there. So what you're saying is you're going to create a 1-foot mound that is going to prevent the water that comes down the neighborhood, across our yard, across our septic system, and it's going to hit that 1 foot. And where is it going to go? It's going to go back towards us. Or it could go to the wetlands, as you say, towards South Street. It will not go towards the Douglas Drive, because that land alongside his garage was raised when he had a pool there, the previous owners before the Burks. So my concern is that even 1 foot is going to have nowhere for this water to go. And so it's going to back up. It's going to affect pooling in our yard. It's going to stop there because you've got the plan going parallel to the fence. Even if you moved it 90 degrees would be better than the entire septic system parallel to that fence, because you're blocking effectively all that drainage that goes that direction. So that's our concern, is that it's creating more of a problem by another contour there. The flatland is bad enough. After several weeks, this last storm, it will dissipate. But a septic system in there, I worry about first of all, his water not having anywhere to go. And secondly, the entire neighborhood drainage is going to be affected.
So, Ms. Pearl, if I understand you correctly, the source of the stormwater that you're concerned with is originating off of your property and off of the applicant's property? To
It comes from above us. So it comes across, if you look at the slide where I show you the shed and the video, did you get the PowerPoint?
We
So
did,
I-
we weren't able to see the video, but my question is, so the stormwater isn't originating on the applicant's property, it's not even originating on your property, it's coming from
It's-
somewhere else.
It's both. The land there right now is flat. So yes, he has pooling in the back there. But it also is coming down and coming across our land and into his yard. That's why I made those little holes, because it had nowhere to go.
No, that's fine, you answered my question.
Yeah.
David, is there anything else you wanted to add?
Well,
about-
I mean, I'm just looking at it now. Yeah, I mean, there's almost a half a foot difference between a shot we took on the fence and a shot we took inside the right now close to the 100-foot buffer. And then, of course, we have the 51, and then this is 50. I guess what we might be able to do is create a little swale in the back of the system so that water can move from the fence down to 49, down to 48. That might alleviate a bit of what's going on in this very flat area. But like I said, by putting this up like this, we're going to drain any water coming from our lot. We'll have enough area now to drain it down or even prevent it from going in this flat area and moving it, so at least some of the water into the wetland to the south west. If we do a little bit of a swale here, just a little bit of a swale, we could probably direct, this is elevation 49, this is elevation 50.8, this is elevation 50. Maybe a little bit of a swale here, we can direct some of the water or most of the water back behind the system down towards the wetlands, if that may be an option to get rid of some of that ponding area.
Yeah, I mean, what I wanted to establish was that the stormwater is originating off both sites.
Yeah, it is. You could see that. Here's elevation 51 and here's elevation.
Can you reshare your screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
That's okay.
I thought I was still on the.
I thought that you thought maybe you were.
So can everybody see the screen now?
Yes,
Mhm.
Okay, so here's elevation 50.8 we shot, and then here's elevation 50. Here's 51, 51. It's very, very flat here, but then it either goes out towards the street at 50, or it goes out towards the wetland at 50, or it sits here, and here's 51 coming across. So these elevations 51 really ponds the area here. By raising the site here, we're going to intercept any water going into this low area and forcing it into the wetland. And what I was saying is maybe we could take this 50 and within the limit of work limit, we can do a swale here so that we can maybe alleviate some of the water that ponds in this area. Because here's 50, here's 49. We might be able to alleviate that water by just a simple swale.
Could you explain what a swale is, please?
It's just a narrow trench where it's got a slope away from the ponding area towards the wetland. It's just a narrow trench. It's mowable. It's 3-to-1 slopes, and it will help it will give a place for the water to go
Run.
instead of being stuck there.
So
So,
you feel comfortable in the water draining towards the wetlands. You don't think that the water on the east side is going to drain back into our yard?
I feel that this would be a solution that would help.
So it would help, but
I don't think it's gonna fix the problem. I don't mean to interrupt. If the problem has been happening for years, so I don't think that, you know, a septic system has to be replaced. It sounds like he's trying to make some kind of an adjustment so that it won't sit ponding or it won't back up because of the raised elevation of the septic system. So if he's able to do this, yes, the water can go towards the wetland because it's wetland and it could use it, so it's okay with it, but at least it's not gonna stop the water from still happening in your yard and his yard, but it will have a place to run instead of being stagnant.
So is this the only place on the property? Could they put it on the other side of the shed, the septic system?
Unfortunately, we found some very unsuitable material here. We were thinking about that. And the soils were unsuitable for a septic system design. So we found the suitable material only in this area on the lot, unfortunately. And that's right where the existing system is. And that's probably why they put the existing system right where it was.
I see.
Wendy, if I can add to your comment.
Sure, Marilyn.
Yep. So I think David has a great idea, you know, Marilyn, the applicant, and David, I'm also a Marilyn and David, and yes, we live together too, for the record. But a trench works really well diverting water away from an area for stormwater control. No, somebody, you know, you're in a mixed area where somebody's property can't drain totally on you, but that's not the full case here. So I think the applicant's idea of doing a trench will help that water area tremendously. And unfortunately, like he just said, if your soils don't perk well to absorb septic tank, then they can't put it in that area, and you don't want to see a septic tank overflow either. That's not good. So I think that's a good idea. And that would definitely, you know, move some of the storm water. Will it take every inch of it? No, but it will definitely divert it.
Well,
Thank you,
our
Marilyn.
intent by bringing this up was to just have this be a consideration.
Sure.
And I'm happy to see that we've come up with a potential help. It's not gonna alleviate the water, and they don't call it bridge water for nothing. And I appreciate the owners and the engineering firm for coming up with hopefully a solution, or at least will help it. And that was our intent, just to point out that we do have this issue that goes on now, and now is the time to do something about it. And if a trench will work, that's great.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you both for your concern. And thank you, Mr. Hart, for bringing that up. It sounds like a great idea.
Yes, thank you very much for allowing us to voice our concerns. We appreciate the letter that you sent to the abutters.
You're welcome. All right, with that, we don't have any more hands, no?
No,
Okay, so do we have enough information that we can close or whatever we're doing?
we need a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay. Do we have a motion to close public hearing?
44 Douglas Drive.
Thank you.
It sounds like Eileen made the motion.
She did. Yeah. A
I'll second.
Thank you. And then do we have a motion?
And you have to ask if there's any discussion.
Oh, and
Yeah,
I
I was gonna
did,
Discussion. I mean, we have 21 days. Our thoughts, guys, on if we want to see that plan with the trench in it. I believe the trench is going to help with the water thing. So kind of like, you know, you take on that. Do we vote on it now? I want to see those plans. Bob, what's your thought on that? Maybe.
I think you can vote on it. I mean, we're supposed to get more rain again this weekend. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I think that the drainage problem is a larger neighborhood problem than this. I mean, this just happens to be the catch basin, if you would, for the rest of the stormwater in that neighborhood. So, you know, I think the best we can do at this point is, you know, David has said they'll put the swale in, and, you know, if it, for whatever reason, the abutter feels they need to come back, you know, and raise this, but
So we can just put that in administrative notes, the upgrade of the plan then.
Yep,
Okay,
Swale to
so
the-
I'll make a motion, Chair would entertain a negative determination, for 44 Douglas Drive, map 118, lot 46, please.
subject to the inclusion of
Subject, yes,
swales.
subject to the, conditions of the change in plans with the, adding the swale for, stormwater diversion. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks, Marilyn. And a second,
second,
roll call vote, Marilyn McDonald,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco,
aye.
and myself, Wendy Smith, aye. Okay,
Thanks, David.
thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Yep,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you. Just before I move on, what did you say, Marilyn? You made the motion for the negative determination, and then you said subject to. and then
Subject to, condition approvals of the, swale going in.
Okay,
That'll be on file with, Bob in the office.
okay. All right, thanks. Okay, next up, we have old business. As stated at the beginning, the notice of intent for Zero Lake Shore Center, map 83, lot 85, has received a continuation letter. We have received a continuation letter, so that will be for our next meeting. Next up, notice of intent for Summer Street, map 122. The applicant representative is Douglas Cameron, Matthew Lundstedt, Comprehensive Environmental, Inc. And the DEP number is SE 116-1533. So do we have somebody here for Summer Street?
Did you read the legal for this the last time?
We did, because we went over the pictures, he showed the diagram, so I know
gotcha.
we
I
opened it.
remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
And is it,
So
Who's
Nick, are
on
you
for that?
playing the role of Douglas tonight?
Yeah, I was gonna say myself is here, Matt Lundstedt is here, and then we have Mike Count with the Office of Fishing and Boating Access is here as well.
okay, good.
So I can basically screen share and kind of start talking about the project.
Excuse me.
Okay, can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, so basically, this project is taking place at probably previously disturbed parking lot across the street from or along Summer Street, kind of diagonally across from 2045 Summer Street. So basically, what's out there now is an existing gravel lot. Actually, I can go to the existing condition sheet. So there's an existing gravel parking lot with 3 spaces. And then there's an existing access path heading down the water. But the slope of the access path is pretty steep and is eroding away during rain events. So one of the purposes of this project was to kind of revegetate this and get a new access path in there that's also ADA compliant. So it eliminates some of the erosion that's coming down this way.
Mhm.
So that's basically what we did here is we widened the access road coming in and made it a crushed stone gravel roadway. Added some additional parking. Added a handicap space. And then added in this pervious crushed stone ADA compliant path heading down towards the water.
Mm.
And the purpose of this project is to be able to for people to be able to launch like canoes and kayaks and be able to fish and you do like recreational activities down by the water. And then I can go over impacts and stuff. So right here we have in this kind of orange colors are 25-foot no disturb. There's a 100-foot buffer because we do have some bordering vegetated wetlands. Flag numbers 1 through 11 up to this point, and then we do have 3 flags of top of bank for the Taunton River. And then we also have delineated the 200-foot riverfront buffer. So as far as impacts goes, we have roughly 1,100 square feet of temporary boring vegetated wetland impacts that just deals with minor grading and laying out the erosion controls surrounding the project site. We have some very minor land underwater impacts just by nature of extending the path down a little bit into where below the top of bank line. And then most of our impacts are coming from boring land subject to flooding, which is about 1,000 square feet of temporary and about 3,400 square feet of permanent, because we are converting some existing woodland areas right where my cursor is here and over here for additional parking spaces.
And you guys are good with DEP now? I know that, they've gone back and forth with comments.
Yes, yeah, I do have, saw the comments that they had come up with, and it's basically just a matter of us kind of talking through them. It's not anything that we actually need to do like a design change on.
And just for those that don't know, this parking lot is part of a trail easement grant through the Commonwealth's Property Department of Corrections for a trail system, which would be part of a larger trail network within the town of Bridgewater.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Bob, do you have any other comments on this?
No, I mean, I think, I know a bit of a hassle for these guys, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think this is a real asset to the community, and having people actually having access to the river would be useful. As well as using, there's been a lot of time and effort put into the trail. There's bog bridges, so I mean, this is, and a lot of people put a lot of effort to get this trail system in place. This is kind of the last part of it.
Yep. Eileen, do you have any comments or concerns, questions?
No, I did not. So it's a good project. We need it.
All right. Thanks, Marilyn. What about you?
No concerns. It's an existing improvement. So.
Yep.
no concerns.
I agree. I have two questions. I have one, the current existing path that has the steep grade down to the bank. Are they
Yep.
gonna have some kind of like a just wooden staked fence or something to like stop people from still using it?
Yeah, so right where my cursor is right now, there's
Yep.
kind of like little bubble hatching. That's all
Yep.
gonna be revegetated.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
gonna be basically, throw down low and seed, that type of thing, and plants will naturally grow back in. So the only option people really have is to use the path that we're installing.
And I would assume that there would be some kind of signage that would say path to riverfront or something. I mean, you might not do that. Maybe you're just doing the engineering piece of it, but
Yep.
like, it just seems like there should be a sign so that people are quite
Mhm.
aware that there's been a change from the way that it was.
Yeah, and then same thing right here with my cursors. We're also kind of revegetating this area right now, which is, I think, one of the existing parking spots.
Yep,
So we're kind of like shifting everything over and then revegetating as much as we can.
yeah, okay. And there's enough room for turnaround with the cars to back up and without backing
Yep.
into anything?
Yeah, we didn't really, if I can zoom in, the existing parking spots end like right where my cursor is, so we didn't
Yeah.
really extend too much past them.
Yep,
And then, like I said, we're also widening like the entrance way coming in, like by adding this right here is all previously disturbed like grass
yeah, right.
or just
from-
roadway shoulder.
Okay.
So we just kind of widen that out, adding in like pervious crushed stone, so then cars can easily get in and out.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
All right, anyone on the meeting that has any questions or concerns that they want to bring up regarding this project? If you do, please raise your hand, raise the virtual hand at the bottom of your screen, or send a chat to Mr. Rulli. No one, Bob? I think you're muted.
Yeah, I was saying no one has raised their hand and no one has sent me a message. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries. All right, so with that, with no more comments, commission, do we have enough information to close, right?
Yeah, close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing on Summer Street, map 122.
Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. Roll call vote, Eileen,
Aye.
Marilyn,
Aye.
and myself, Wendy, aye. And then do we have a motion to issue?
I'll make a motion to approve notice of intent Summer Street map 122.
I'll never get the wording right. Thank you, and do we have a second?
Second.
Any
Thank you.
discussion?
Nope.
All right, and roll call vote, Marilyn,
Aye.
Eileen?
Aye.
And myself, Wendy, aye. Thank you. Thank you all for your work on the project. Good luck.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time. Have a good night.
You too
You're
now.
welcome.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Okay, next up, Conservation Commission business. We have administrative items, certificate of compliance, Firefly Lane, map 49, lot 98 and 99. Does anybody have to speak on that, or do we just talk on it, that everything is completed?
Yeah, I don't know if Mr. Maroney is here. We did receive the engineer's certificate that the work had been completed, subject to the order of conditions. So we can issue, the motion would be to issue the certificate of compliance.
Okay, so either Eileen or Marilyn, do you want to make that motion?
Chair can entertain a motion, please, for certificate of compliance, to approve Firefly Lane, map 49, lot 98 and 99.
Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. And a roll call vote, Marilyn,
Aye.
Eileen,
Aye.
and myself, Wendy, aye. Next certificate of compliance is for 218 rear Auburn Street, map 78, lot 56. The applicant representative is JPCG Realty Trust, and it's SE 116-1471.
And I don't think anyone is here for the applicant, but we did again receive an engineer's certificate that the work had been completed in accordance with the order of conditions. So the request would be to issue the certificate of compliance.
Okay,
Sounds good. Chair can entertain a motion, please, for requested certificate of compliance on 218R Auburn Street, map 78, lot 56.
thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Eileen. And with that, we'll have a roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco.
Aye.
And myself, Wendy Smith, aye. And last one, certificate of compliance for 6 Aldrich Road, map 20, lot 77. I
So
do
I know
not,
Rebecca is here, but I will say this is a little different because this is the engineer's certificate that no work was ever done.
Oh, yeah.
We just need to close that out. I think they are moving forward with potentially selling the property, but we need to be able to close the DEP file out to say that none of the requirements of the order conditions were met because the work was never done.
okay,
All right, I'll make a motion for issuing certificate of compliance with 6 Aldridge Road, map 20, lot 77. With no work has ever been done. Thank you.
Second.
and a roll call vote, Marilyn McDonald,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco,
Aye.
and myself, Wendy Smith, aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So that is about it. We have no minutes to review and pass.
One other thing, Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think we had talked about it at the last meeting about going back to 5:30, but we never acted
Oh,
on it.
my goodness, I was supposed to say that at the beginning. I even wrote myself a note.
So we can treat that as Conservation Commission business. If in fact, the consensus is you want to go back to 5:30, you would just make a statement that the next meeting and going forward will start at 5:30.
Oh, no, so next week we have to still be 6?
No, the next meeting can be at 5:30. We just need to get it on the record that. that's what
Oh,
you-
okay, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so beginning next meeting, which is 1/25/2024, the meeting will begin at 5:30. We'll go back to the 5:30 time. We were gonna do that this week and we didn't.
Oh, good.
And Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you had a good Christmas and New Year. It seems weird saying it at January 11th, but
Well,
Happy
first
New
time
Year
you see-
to all. So we come to the very last part on our agenda, item G, adjournment.
Oh, I got a quick question for Bob, though. Any update on the
Yes.
signatures? Do you got one signature approved or?
Oh, we did.
Oh, great. Okay, perfect.
Yep, I went in and signed.
Nice.
I think it can be either of us.
It can be any of you, yes.
Any,
Okay.
okay.
All right, that's good. Then,
We won't need any for a while because when I went in, I swear to God, Nicole had me signing like 40 people in each section, COCs and records, whatever, like every
She
area.
even slid in a loan
but
application. for
it's
you.
good to know for everybody in the applicant moving forward. We be good.
Yeah, yeah. I felt like I was buying a house. I'm like,
5:30 and all signatures. We be good.
yeah.
Oh, you did buy a house. We just didn't tell you.
Terrific. Okay, everybody. So we need a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There we go. All right.
Good
Have a
night,
good night.
everyone. Thank you.
All right.
Good night. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.